What part of your story is the hardest to watch back? Not because of the consequences, but because of the man that you were becoming in that moment.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the hardest part of my story is when I was going to USC and I was trying to fit in with all these rich kids and trying to be somebody I wasn't.
Do you think that set the tone for what ultimately happened?
Oh, no doubt.
Explain.
If I didn't go to USC, I wouldn't have been around all this wealth. Trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to fit in, trying to have that Mercedes-Benz, have that BMW, be able to spend and hang out with my fraternity brothers that's parents are doctors and lawyers and actors and actresses, and eventually playing football at USC and being around guys that are going to the NFL and wanting to have that part of my life, whether it's buying bottle service, having hot chicks, driving nice cars, wearing nice clothes, and being somebody I wasn't.
I can get away from you real quick.
No doubt.
The ultimate mask. I can relate to that. It's funny because like now we look back, right, and we have the whole like concept of my brand, the show and stuff like that is like the story that took us to the bottom and our rise, right?
Yeah.
But most people didn't get to see a top like you did, right? So this story of yours is like straight up like hustling your way to the top, right? Falling apart. And now look at what you're doing today. And it's fantastic. And I want to focus actually, surprisingly, more on the come up now.
Yeah. Most people want to hear about what I did illegally, working with the cartel, playing football, and then crashing, right? But now it's like, that was the bad part of my life. I was doing illegal activity and I belonged to go to prison, right? You break the law, you go to prison, you're supposed to. So I know I fucked up, but now I can show the world, hey, I can do this legally and I'm having more fun than ever.
The redemption story, becoming somebody who is truly authentic. There's so much power in that. You know, it's not going to get you an Amazon Prime series, but there's purpose, right? And I think it's important for people to know that a lot of people reach out to me and I never did prison time. I've been in and out of jail and stuff like that, and definitely in and out of addiction. But it's the amount of people that reach out to me that some of them have phones snuck in, right? And you know something about that, but
sure.
And they reach out to me and they're like, your story is pushing me to do more, but my story doesn't compare to yours, and what you're doing now is monumental.
I tell people if I could do it from a 6x8 prison cell in a mop bucket and create something that's going to be one day $1 billion brand, it should open the eyes to everyone else there that's complaining about the right time, the right moment, having no money, breaking up with a girlfriend or losing their wives. I mean, shit. I was at rock bottom, right, Justin? Like, you can't go any lower than a United States penitentiary in a 6x8 prison cell where you eat 3 meals a day. You're stuck in a cell. You got a cellie that's snoring. You got a toilet bowl right next to your head when you're sleeping. And it's the same monotony every day. It doesn't get any worse.
No. I want to touch on that, though, the process of building this out in prison. Like, first of all, where did the idea come from?
It was an accident. Like, the whole prison bid, for the 10 years I was in prison, I had this hustler mentality. I can't stop doing something. I got the worst ADD ever. Like, I can't sit still. People, would write me when I was in prison, friends that know how I am. They're like, dude, how are you handling it? You cannot sit still. Imagine being in a 6x8 prison cell and putting someone with ADD in there. And it's true. It's like, I go crazy. But I figured out a way to hustle. And I remember my first hustling was making pizza in prison. And I figured out a way to have something that no one else had. And I remember the first job I had was working for a counselor in the prison. And the counselor had a microwave. And to have a microwave in prison is impossible, but I had access to this microwave. So when people make pizzas in prison, they take a trash bag of hot water and they use that trash bag to melt the cheese on a pizza. So the way they make the pizza is they take 3 tortillas and they form it, and they literally form it like a pizza crust. And then they put the cheese and little pepperoni slices, and then they take this trash bag with hot water and they put it on top of the cheese and it melts it barely. Now, when I got this job working for this counselor, the prison counselor, he says, Owen, you're going to make $40 a month and I'm going to give you access to the microwave. And in prison, a microwave's like gold, right? So what I did is I offered the same pizza service that everyone else did, but now I would bring my pepperonis, I would bring my sausage, and I'd put it in a bowl and I'd microwave it. So now it's hot and crispy and it cooks. And then I took that same tortilla that everyone else was using and I put cheese at the very end and I curled it over and I microwaved it so it became a stuffed crust. Right? Like no one has a fucking stuffed crust. And then I literally build my pizza in the microwave and I'd microwave it and I'd get it hot enough where that thing would be crispy. So I'd bring it out and I'd sell the same pizza that everyone else sold. But now I have crispy meat, a stuffed crust, and it bit me in the butt. I had the shot callers talking about it, saying I was ruining the game for the other pizza makers on the yard. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? But my mind works like, okay, I don't want to piss people off. How can I use this in my advantage? So I went to all the pizza makers. I said, every bowl you give me of meat, I'll microwave for you for $5. So now I'm microwaving all the pizza makers' meat, and I'm bringing it out, and they're giving me $5. So now no one can complain. We're all on the level playing field. But really, I'm making the most money now because I'm selling my pizza for the same price. And now I got all the pizza makers buying my microwave time. So where does that go? I go to the next prison yard and everyone makes pizzas. There's no microwaves. They're just doing the same thing. And I couldn't get access to a microwave. So one day, it was total accident. Every time I was in prison, I told myself, you'll like this because you work out. I'm going to treat this day like I'm at either a 24-hour fitness or an Equinox. And what I mean by that is this. Everyone calls me when I'm on the phone or writes me letters, poor Owen, he's in prison. No, fuck me with the poor Owen. Owen is not in prison. His body's in prison, but his mind's out there in the real world because that's how I am. And when I go to work out on the prison yard, I just feel like I'm at 24 hours. I'm running on the cardio machine. When I'm doing pull-ups, I'm at Equinox. And that's how my mind plays tricks to get me out of the prison system. And then what I do, I would meal prep to pretend like we're in the real world. I know you meal prep. I meal prep to this day. And I literally have these little bowls that they give you. And I would take mackerel and I'd clean them. I'd put them in this bowl. I'd put some lemon juice, some peanuts, some salsa, and I'd put a top on it. And I'd make like 4 or 5 of those. So every 2 hours, I'd eat my mackerel with the peanuts and the lemon juice. And it was my meal prep. And for dessert, I would have a protein shake. In prison, we were allowed to buy 7 protein shakes a week, 1 for each day. That's the limit. It's crap protein. It's like a milk concentrate. But who cares? It's something better than nothing. So I'd buy these chocolate protein shakes. And every day I would say to myself, I want to feel like after my workout, I'm drinking a protein shake like I'm at the Earth Bar or Natural Body, right? Or everybody nutrition down the road here. And that was my mindset. So in prison, we don't have refrigeration. So in order to keep things cold, we get ice from the ice machine because they allow us to have ice. And we would either use a trash can or a mop bucket. And we put a plastic liner and we fill it up with ice. And I would take this protein shake that I was telling you I make, and I have this empty peanut butter jar, and I dump this protein shake, 1 a day. We get bags of milk from morning breakfast, 1 bag of milk every day we get. So I'd smuggle that back. We get bananas on Mondays and Wednesdays, so I'd keep bananas always ripe. And then we get peanut butter from the commissary, 1 peanut butter jar a month. So I would take this shake in this empty peanut butter jar, and I'd shake it up. I'd slice bananas, put a little peanut butter drizzle in there, and it'd feel like that chunky monkey, right, at Jan's. So I would put it in this mop bucket, and by the time I got back from my workout, it was always ice cold. One day, the ice machine broke. My celly says, hey, Owen, we got a problem. I said, what? He goes, it's out of ice, and we only got 2 inches of ice. I'm like, okay, well, what are we going to do? He's like, we could throw some salt on the ice and it'll keep it cold. Salt and ice together. It's science, right? It keeps it cold. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I go work out. I literally come back like 4 hours later. I go to grab my protein shake and the fucker's rock hard. I'm like, fuck, man. Sally, what am I going to do? He's like, dude, who cares? Just eat it. So Justin, I literally take that first bite and I go, holy shit, this is like protein ice cream. And literally that day, it went ding, ding, ding in my head. I'm like, okay, this is going to be my new hustle. I got to figure out if everyone else will like this. Because who has ice cream in prison? Nobody.
Right.
So the next day, I go to my workout crew, and I think I made 7 of them. I have 4 guys on the yard that work out with me, and I literally give them all a peanut butter jar of ice cream. And they're like, holy shit, dude. Like every bite has a chunk of banana, a swirl of peanut butter, and they're eating this like, this is amazing. I'm like, do you guys think these people would sell this? Like, would they buy this if I sold it? And he's like, dude, you could sell this for a fortune. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to charge, right? And I just threw a random number. To be honest, I threw a number so high, I was hoping people wouldn't buy it so I could eat it. So I said $15 a peanut butter jar. And the next day I made 7 of them. That's what I could make in the mop bucket. And everyone pre-bought it. Like it was pre-sold. Before I could even finish, I said, okay, they haven't even tasted yet. But my buddies that work out with me telling everybody, fuck, you got to try it. The next day was 14. The next day, 21. I'm like, okay, I'm on to something. Super Bowl Sunday, I remember I had pre-orders for 50 at $15 a piece. I had the whole unit, the whole bottom floor with mop buckets in their cell, because you can't have a bunch of mop buckets in your cell. You get in trouble. So I had literally all my neighbors with mop buckets, and we're shaking this ice and salt with our peanut butter jars, and I'm paying every guy $1 on each jar, and guys are making 7 in their cell. Just for us to understand, in prison, about 22 cents is the average hourly salary. So these guys are making $7 in a day when they're used to making $1.50 a day. And they're like, dude, this is awesome. So I start literally selling this. Super Bowl Sunday, I made 50 peanut butter jars full of ice cream, and I sold them. And people are like, dude, you're making more money than the correctional officers. And I was, right? Fast forward, I get out of prison 2024, and now I'm at the halfway house for 16 months. And I call my buddy. I just get out. He's like, man, what are you doing? I said, dude, you're not going to believe this. I said, I started hustling fucking ice cream in prison. Like I felt like I was selling drugs. He's like, what do you mean? I said, dude, I had the same rush. Like it felt like, dude, I'm doing something in life. And he's like, what kind of ice cream? I said, protein ice cream. He goes, dude, protein ice cream? I've never even heard of that. I said, dude, I started doing Google searches, and I'm like, dude, there's a company called Halo Top. 5 grams of protein per serving. What's the point? Like, what is it for your pinky? Like, what's 5 grams going to do for us? Right? I'm like, okay, well, I was making protein shakes that had 40 grams, and I was turning them into ice cream. So if I could do it in prison, why can't I do it on the street? So I literally, the first week I was able to go look for a job in the halfway house, I went to every ice cream manufacturer I could. And I finally found one after about 2 weeks. And I gave him the book, The California Kid. After everyone turned me down, this last guy, I gave him the book, California Kid, and I said, dude, if I can pay back the cartel $4 million, I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to make you some money. Just believe in me. And the guy literally did R&D with me for like 6 months to perfect the recipe. We use like a probiotic base, no added sugar. We're using monk fruit for sweetener. And now I've got 4 flavors. I'm in over 100 gyms and nutrition stores, direct to consumer online. So I tell people I can send ice cream anywhere in the United States in 2 days, and it'll land right on your doorstep.
Wow. Okay, so that just like loaded me up with a lot of questions, and not so much on the business side, but on the personal side. Let me ask you something. A minute ago, you said that it felt like you were dealing drugs. That's because you were the man, right?
Yeah, I like to be the man.
Plug.
Yeah.
Do you have a desire to be liked?
Of course, everyone likes to be liked.
And you're a great salesman.
I can sell iced Eskimos.
So I think something that a lot of people don't know is the greatest salesmen have the highest desire to be liked. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but
there's a huge correlation between the two. That if somebody doesn't like a great salesman, I consider I've been selling cars my entire life, since before I could drive them. And if somebody doesn't like me, it's like, what can I do to make that person like me? Now we joke around, we say, like, oh, I don't give a fuck. But inside we're like, I want them to like me, right? And of course there's some sort of transactional situation there, but at the end of the day, we want people to like us. And so that desire to be the plug, to be the man, right? You're the guy that has something that everybody wants. And I'm sure that started when you were a dope man.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. I didn't think of it like that, but you're right. When I was a dope man and I had the bag, everyone wanted to be around me.
And you were the man.
Yeah, you're right. And now I come in, I'm creating a product that's not available, right? There's nobody that has a protein ice cream on a stick. Yeah, there's a couple brands, but on a stick. And now I see like these fitness girls and these good looking influencers, and people are like, dude, let me get some of that, right? Mm-hmm. And all the way to, Lil Wayne the other night eating my ice cream, and he's like, dude, you're unstoppable. And I was like, man, what a good feeling that is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is having the product, having people seek you out because you have something that everybody wants. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I think people would look at it as vain or like opportunistic or whatever, but sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But providing a fantastic product and being the plug, being the source, being the dude is I think everybody has that desire, but I think until you have a taste of what that actually feels like, you don't know what that can really do for you. And if that becomes an obsession and you turn that into a positive obsession, then for goodness sakes, man, you can do so much with it.
Yeah.
The next question is throughout your past, you have a history of drug use.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do you consider yourself an addict?
It was, yeah.
Was.
Yeah,
well, yeah. I mean, some people say once an addict, always an addict.
Yeah, of course. I don't like to consider myself an addict now because I'm not doing what I used to do. I mean, I used to party like a fucking rock star before, to the point where an 8-ball of Coke every day, a Purell bottle of GHB every day, Xanax in the left pocket, ecstasy in the right. And it's like every day we're doing this. It's like the party's got to end. Yeah. And I tell people the best thing that could have happened to me was my arrest, because I could finally turn that off. And I was like, fuck, it's finally over. No more cartel, no more gambling, no more booking bets, and no more partying. That's what I would have kept going. I would have died, no doubt.
But you still have the obsession, the commitment level of an addict.
Oh, no doubt.
You don't ever lose that.
Yeah, I'm addicted now. I literally, like you say, I'm addicted to making this work. Like I'm in a zone where I don't stop. And people are like, dude, if you just focus. I remember there was a CEO of a big protein company that told me, if you focus on this protein ice cream like you fixated on the drug game, he says, you're going to be the fucking man. And when he said that, I was like, dude, he's right. Because I see myself working on this project like when I did working with the cartel on encrypted phone. I would be on that phone until 2 a.m. talking to this boss in Mexico. And that fucking same rush I have now when I send a pallet of ice cream that's frozen and gets back east to the East Coast, and it lands, and I find out it lands and it's still frozen. It's like, wow, that's the same rush I used to feel when I would send, truckloads of work to Canada or Australia or a ton of cocaine into Italy. Like I had that same feeling, and it's such a smaller scale, no doubt, but it's been so long since I've had that feeling, and now I'm doing it again, and it's in a healthy way.
I love that. I gave a keynote at the beginning of the year about how an addict, whether you're recovered, whatever, but that addict mindset, you'll never find somebody that is more committed and more obsessed with something. And that is our superpower, right? That is what separates us from everybody else. And then you add the hustle, right? That work ethic, that mindset. If you were to tell somebody who was able to stay committed, stay obsessed to the point of hitting rock bottom, whether it's prison time, overdose, losing family, whatever it is, what would be, for a lot of people, it's hard for them to turn that into an opportunistic, abundant mindset, right? How would you help somebody, or what would you tell somebody to shift that negative, that self-doubt, or that complacency into an abundant mindset?
when you hit that rock bottom moment, there's only one way to go from there, and it's up. You've already hit that moment. You might as well, start taking that rocket slowly and steadily up until you get to the moon legally. Like, that's how I look at it. Like, everyone says, slow and steady, and I see it now because I used to be that guy that used to cut corners, and the cutting corners ended up costing 10 years of my life. And that's what it took. It took me to hit rock bottom in order to see it and understand it fully. Because when the judge sentenced me, he said it's time to rehabilitate. And obviously they know best, right? They represent the government. And he told me that, and I was like, you know what? He's right. It's time. And that's what it took for me, that rock bottom moment, to realize, okay, I can get to the top, and it's not going to be fast. I have to do it slowly. And now it's like, I don't know if you feel this way, but I like things like right away.
Oh yeah.
like for me, I got a sickness. Like, I remember going on a date with a girl right when I got out of prison. And I was like, dude, I just want to get to that. Like, I want the punani. Like, but that's not the mentality. If you have a girl that gives you a punani on the first night, that's not a good girl, right? Like, so it's like, good things take time. And the guys that started Quest, right, they didn't make the $1 billion exit in 1 year. It took, I want to say close to 10 years. Mm-hmm. So I know it will pay off if I take the ride, like they say, slow and steady wins the race. The turtle in the hare, right? And the turtle always wins the race. And I'm no longer going to be that rabbit that's trying to cut corners. I need to be that turtle.
Somehow, though, you're having a pretty fast rise.
I think it's faster than most people because, let's face it, it doesn't
hurt.
Yeah, no, you're right, because it doesn't hurt that they did a docuseries with Mark Wahlberg. That, I think, helped speed it up. Mm-hmm. But I knew when I was in prison and I was watching this thing being produced and I finished my book, The California Kid, I knew I had to use that momentum with the brand I created to hit it. So people would see it and be like, okay, what's this guy doing now? And I had literally manifested this in prison. When I was in the halfway house, that's considered prison. I knew I had to build this protein ice cream brand quick enough before the docuseries came out. Because once that docuseries came out, I said, I'm gonna have a little gap. In that gap, I need to hit fucking hard. And now when I'm on like CBS or Fox, people hear about the brand California Ice Protein. What's the first thing they do? They look it up and they want to support the comeback. They buy and they buy and they buy. Next thing you know, we're shipping 50 cases of ice cream in like a day period. So it's like, I got to use the momentum.
There's a saying, offers tell, stories sell. And there's no doubt that every great brand has a great story, right? Think about like Apple starting in the garage,
Tesla.
Exactly.
Amazon.
100%.
Dave's Killer Bread.
Yep.
One of my favorites.
Yep. So offers tell, stories sell. And what used to be the underdog story, like that was like what people loved, was like the underdog story. And I think now what everybody is attracted to, and even though there is a lot of taboo, I think that the world is softened up to like the stigma of drugs, gambling, alcoholism, all of the taboos that people would try to avoid in marketing before, and now it's like the hottest thing, right? Like think about where it started. Like it started before this, but like think about some of the biggest things, right? Well, you took a guy who was like a C-list celebrity, right, who was drunk, passed out in like some random neighbor's house, right? You get him sober, right? Slap an Iron Man costume on him, and now Marvel wants to print $1 billion. You have Robert Downey Jr. in an Iron Man costume, right? These stories start to like take like the most taboo situations, right? The most like rock bottom, like what most people 10, 15 years ago turned their nose up at. Right, because all they see is like drug addiction and all of the stuff that you and I have been a part of in our prior life as like living under a bridge. Well, it ain't that way anymore.
No,
people are knowledgeable. People see it.
Yeah, I agree. Look at our president, right? He's been arrested. right? And so look at him. Look at his comeback. He became the 47th president of America. So if our president can do it, why can't I? And I think you're right. Like I was in prison watching ESPN in 2018, and I started to see sports betting lines on the TV. I was like, this is fucking taboo. I was arrested for this in 2015. Now it's legal and people are betting on sports, and you're watching ESPN and a Fox football game and you're seeing the spread of a football game. That's like a big no-no back when I was around. And I'm like, wow. Like imagine if I would have just kept doing what I was doing legally or illegally with the sports betting. And if I never got involved with the cartel, maybe by now I'd be the CEO of this company, DraftKings or FanDuel. And you're right. They're starting to accept these things. And I think eventually, people are going to just realize like it is what it is. Like weed, like everyone used to say, oh, weed's bad. Now it's legal. I was with guys in prison for 50 years for weed, and now it's legal in the United States.
How do you think they feel sitting in the South?
Must be sick, right?
Yeah.
50 years. It's tough at the federal level. You really can't overturn that stuff because it's not legal in the feds. It's legal on the state side.
Right.
So they're going to stay the rest of their time there.
Yeah, I love the generation that we're in. I like this time period right now, where it is like the taboo is attractive.
Yeah, it's sexy, right?
It's sexy.
Hey, people, I'll tell you what, people like a bad boy.
They love a bad boy.
I can't believe it.
And that ain't new.
No.
But now it's marketable, palatable, desired.
Yeah, you're right. It's amazing how many people come up to me and make me, oh my gosh, you're such an inspiration. I'm thinking to myself, fuck, how am I an inspiration? And I'm not thinking I'm an inspiration. I'm thinking I'm a criminal, a convict, right? I'm like, why are they saying that? But then I look back and I watch the documentary. I'm like, okay, well, I kind of see where they're talking, but I'm not proud of what I did, right?
No, and I don't think you need to be proud of what you did, but you should be proud of the way you turned it around.
Yeah.
Because most people don't.
Yeah.
Most people get super institutionalized. They become a product of the system. They're back in. They
go back.
Yeah.
They're used to that life.
Yeah, totally.
And they're the man in there. That's the thing in prison. They're the man. They got their 3 meals, their bed, same clothes as everyone else. They make the same money as everyone else. And then they come out to the real world and they're nobody, right? And they're like, fuck this, I'm going back. And for me, it's like, once I saw that, I was like, I'm never coming back.
Yeah. I think as you grow, as this brand grows bigger and bigger, and I see it going all the way to the moon. And obviously we have mutual friends that have been involved with you or are involved with you at this, and everybody believes in you. Everybody's watching your work ethic and stuff like that, and it's impressive, man.
Appreciate it.
And I take it as somebody who, again, like my rock bottom was my launch pad into existence and becoming, and I'm not at near the scale you are, but at least at having the life of my dreams.
Yeah.
And I think the other biggest part about this, and the reason that because everybody has a family member that, and I'm going to put it in my case, was a fuck up.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But they love that person in spite of them being a fuck up, right? It's like, oh, that's Johnny, he loves to get fucked up. He's got a couple DUIs, but he's got a great heart.
Yeah.
But then those family members, those friends, they see stories like yours and they're like, Johnny, don't you see that you can also do this? Yeah. So the inspiration is, and I think too, we've been through a lot in the last 20 years, right? Opioid epidemic. Just a lot of really nasty shit. Now we have fentanyl. We have, terrible. It's terrible. And people are hitting rock bottom faster and more abundantly. And so when you have stories like yours, mine, and numerous other people that are coming out of prison, reformed, building businesses, doing things, you look at guys like, what's his name? Eric, He built a bunch of recovery houses.
Yeah, he's great. And he's in Miami, in Boston. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He sold, 125 million, I think he made, selling all those. Yeah, he's great.
Yep. And there's, there are tons of other guys, that are all over social media and stuff like that, where like now it is like if you've been and I talk about it in my advertisements and everything I talk about, because it's so fucking true. If you're a man who's fucking hit rock bottom and you've clawed your way back up to existence, like, you have something special. You just need to figure out how to put it out there.
Yeah.
Right. And not only, but it's not just that. It's like Mark Wahlberg's not naive. He knows that that's what's marketable now.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure he was like, wow, this is going to be fucking huge, because this is what people are watching. This is what people are loving to see, because everybody has that person. If you would have asked me 20 years ago about recovery, about like reforming your lifestyle, what rock bottom even was, I would have had no fucking clue. I didn't even know sober living was a thing.
Yeah, you had to go through it.
Yeah.
You got to see yourself.
And then you go through it and you start to see the success and the abundance that comes from people like us. It's attractive.
Yeah, no doubt.
But let me ask you this. Most people find themselves maybe reforming, but then becoming complacent. What do you tell them?
And when you meaning complacent, meaning what?
So it's funny. So I'm an AA guy, right?
Okay.
And you see this often in the rooms where like guys get sober, they get some time, they get fat,
They get a
job that they hate. But as long as they're sober,
I see what you're saying. Look, and I'm sober, and there's just different things that get me excited now, and you can still have fun. Like for me, it's fitness. I never used to care to have a 6-pack and eat clean when I was, partying, and now it's like, okay, I'm not partying, and it's even better because you see quicker results. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you put the structure and you feel better. Like you're realizing you can wake up at 4 a.m. and do a cold plunge and go work out. And by the time 10 o'clock rolls around at nighttime and you're like, man, I feel great. I still have energy, and it's so much easier just to fall asleep. And I think, like you said, in order to not be complacent, I think you have to find an activity that gives you purpose. And whether it's, some hobby, whether it's cycling, rowing, whatever you like, do it, and not fall into that, like you said, 9 to 5, where you get fat and you just don't care. Well, I'm sober. Well, guess what? There's more than life than just to be sober.
Is there anything that you still enjoy from your previous life?
I definitely still enjoy like nice dinners.
Okay.
Like you and I could go to a dinner, let's say at like Ocean 48, and
love Ocean 48.
I'm gonna love to have some oysters and some crab and
their caviar cones.
Caviar, right? Like
the little ice cream cones that they
dude, I would have loved to do all that. Now, for me, in the past, it would be Masters, because Ocean 48 wasn't around back then. But it would be Masters, and then for me, it would be, okay, let's have a bunch of cocktails, let's have wine with the steaks, and you know what, let's do a big old rack of cocaine, and I'm still feeling good. Okay, now let's go to Hyde After Hours in Hollywood, and you know what, we're still going here, let's go to my fucking mansion in Beverly Hills, and let's keep this party going. But now it's like, okay, you got to be able to turn it off. After that steak dinner, you're 43 fucking years old. Let's go to bed, right? And let's do it all over again. And we can still have nice things, but let's cut out the vices. Let's cut out the partying. Let's realize what makes us feel good, and not having all those addictions and alcohol. I know every day I wake up in the morning, I'm like, fuck, I feel awesome. But if I was doing those things I used to do, guess what? I'm not going to feel very good at 43.
The low always surpasses the high. Yeah. When I got sober and I had a little bit of time, I wanted to like edit and audit out my life to figure out what I still did enjoy, Yeah. For me, like, I love golf.
Oh, fuck golf. I love golf too.
But I didn't know when I got sober if I would still like golf.
Yeah. That's funny you say that. When I used to golf, I told my wife at the time, she goes, why are you taking Vicodin? I said, I only take Vicodin when I golf because it loosens me up. But this is how you know you have a fucking addiction. I was golfing 7 days a week. Right? Because I was popping the Vicodin, and that was my excuse. I needed to go to golf because my wife's going to look down upon me, but I'm going to loosen up my back. Well, that's a fucking addiction, because that's not the truth. Yeah, it did make me feel good. It did make me loosen up, but I remember that first day I was in prison, and then the next day I'm kicking from those pills, and the next day I'm like, holy shit, this is real. Like, that was a serious opiate addiction.
Yeah. Oh no, I used Vicodin as a performance enhancing drug for years.
Yeah.
Yep, I know that feeling. Yeah, that's and I use other things I use mushrooms as performance enhancing drugs. And again on the golf course. And you know what? It's funny though, because like I don't know how long you've been golfing, but like I golfed before I found drugs and alcohol, right? I started golfing when I was a kid. I grew up on a golf course out in Maine, and so when I started, that was one thing that I had to test, right? Same with Vegas, right? Like, did I like going to pool parties and stuff still?
Yeah. So I haven't done that yet.
No,
I'm excited to try that.
You know what? I actually I don't like the nightclubs because I'm just tired.
Yeah, you're exhausted.
I don't want to be out here like that. But the pool parties I still do like.
Yeah.
You know, and they're obviously pool parties are fun when you're over 6 foot and you have an Adonis physique.
Yeah.
Like they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I still do enjoy that. But again, it was like a level of like editing and auditing the things in my life that I once enjoyed when I was drinking and using and partying and all of that. And now that I'm sober, what do I still enjoy? So yeah, pool parties, golf, I still enjoy. I still enjoy rock and roll and punk rock concerts, you know. And I think that's important for people that are getting their life back together is exactly like you said, finding out what you actually love and what's your purpose.
Yeah.
Because I think we have such an emotional tie to like the vices that we had to, you know, drinking. I love gambling.
Yeah.
But I never had a gambling problem, so I can still go sit at a high stakes table and roll for a little bit and walk away when I need to. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But if I like the dealer, you know how that goes. But yeah, I think it was important for me to edit and audit, and I think that a lot of people need to, you know, get some time first, right? Like don't like, you know, get a free night in the halfway house and go, hey, I'm gonna go to the nightclub.
Yeah.
You might fuck up.
Yeah, I see that.
But get some time and yeah, you know, give it a try.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. All right.
And if you like it, then cool. But you might find out you might be like, this doesn't have a taste for me anymore.
No, golf is still there. It's just my game's not what it used to be.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't go to a nightclub, but I would definitely do a pool party. I just want to see if I'm okay around those type of people because everyone's on ecstasies and, you know, doing drugs. Like, am I going to look at them like, gosh, did I look this stupid when I was doing this stuff?
So I think at first, and I'll just tell you where like how it worked for me. Like at first, like, you know, you're like, so like you're into like personal development and working out and stuff like that. You start to become a little self-righteous, right? And you're like, man, that looks stupid. Like, oh yeah, I would never want to like whatever.
Yeah.
But then you start to realize that ecstasy was your problem. It might not, and it may be their problem, but that their problem isn't your problem. Right. And that was how it was for me, where it was like, you know, when I first came in, I was like, what a bunch of dipshits. Like I used to be like that. You know what I mean? And now it's like, hey, look, you guys are having fun and I'm having more fun.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost as if like you want to prove to yourself and everybody else. Right. And again, that's us with the desire to be liked and things like that, to be like, look at me, man.
Yeah.
I'm fucking jacked. I look good. Yep. I'm at the pool party. I'm smiling. I have the hottest woman here. And I don't need all of that. Yep. It's what I say. And this is part of my book. It's the subtitle of my book is create a life that you don't need a substance to enhance.
I like it. That's true.
But it's not all. It's the life, but it's the man that you've become, right? Where it's like nowadays, like I'm becoming my most elite self. I have my dream career, my dream business. I have a beautiful home on the beach. I have a gorgeous girlfriend. You know, like I have sobriety. I don't need anything to make it better.
Yeah. I like that. Because it does feel a lot better when you don't need a substance to make you, you know, feel like a rock star, right?
Mm-hmm. because I love cocaine too. That was my DOC.
Yeah.
And I was just like you. I'd have my little like pockets up here with my little vials in it. Yeah. And I'd go out and I had a whole procedure, an SOP for the evening. Yeah. Ultimately ending in a little bit of ketamine at about 4 o'clock.
I love the ketamine at night. Yeah. And I it's crazy because they're prescribing now ketamine for like PTSD.
I know, I see that.
It's crazy. And I mean, for me, I mean, my prison PTSD was so bad, like bad. And it's, you know, I talked to a Navy SEAL that I was with in prison. He's like, no, it's helping. He's like, it's helping me. I'm like, wow, that's incredible. I guess if you use it in the right way, it works, right?
The ketamine was, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I was literally microwaving it and turning it into powder, and I was fucking doing big lines of it. You know, I had this house in Costa Rica. I'd go to the veterinarian and buy the ketamine in the bottle, and I'd dump it in this liquid ketamine. Yeah, the liquid ketamine. I'd microwave it in my Costa Rica house, and we'd chop it up and fucking just snort big fucking rails of it. Walk around like we had moon boots on, right?
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, going in a K-hole is a
dude,
trip,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going. This is like fun.
Yeah, I had friends that would go out on it, but we would always like wait. And you go out to the same process. Go to dinner, wine, booze, nice steak. Go to the bathroom, blow, and then leave dinner, Molly, right? Maybe a couple mushroom caps, right? And then after like the club would start to like die down, we'd go to somebody's house. They'd usually have a DJ set up in their basement or whatever. And then it was like just like mob out a little bit of like, well, not a little bit, but a lot of ketamine. That was like my same process. So I know the exact move there. And then what was crazy though? Yeah, I got jacked before I got sober.
Really?
Yep. And everybody's like, really? Yeah, dude. I wanted to look really good while doing those nights. So like I would stay out till 3-4 o'clock in the morning, exactly that process, and I'd be in the gym at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah. Sweating out drugs, still like my fingers still looking funny, still a little moon boots.
So you're a what do they call that? Where you can hang? I guess you're a functioning addict, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I could
disciplined addict.
Disciplined addict. Yeah. Because I agree with you. I could still go to the gym, and people would be like, "How the hell are you still up?"
Yeah, I would take like a little bottle of vodka too in my gym bag and take
no way,
just to
dude,
keep
that
it
never was
running.
that bad.
Yeah, oh no, it was bad. Yeah, it was bad. I couldn't do blow and work out.
No, that's a heart attack. Yeah.
Well, I just wouldn't want to because like when I do coke, I just like, especially if I was like hungover doing coke, then I just get weird.
Yeah,
I just want to like look at weird stuff on the internet and be alone.
Yeah, I remember one time I was in Costa Rica and I took my dad surfing. And I did some blow and we were paddling out and I'm like, holy shit, this is not fun. No. Like this is not supposed to be. No. You're not supposed to work out or paddle on a surfboard on blow.
No. I can remember going down to my car doing blow and then getting on a chairlift going snowboarding. And like halfway up the chairlift, I was like, this is the worst time ever.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. I'd rather just be sitting in my car alone than. That's fucking funny. Well, I mean, what's next? What's next for 2026?
2026 looks like this. A lot of law enforcement has been hiring me to speak to, everybody from the Border Patrol, U.S. Customs, DEA, FBI, ICE. And I've literally, they got me booked probably 6 speaking engagements. I'm speaking to law enforcement about my story and how my mindset was working when I would do certain things so they can get knowledge off of it. And then I've got a lot of college sports teams. Yesterday I spoke to San Diego. 2 weeks ago I spoke to USC. I'm speaking to like the basketball programs, the baseballs, the footballs, and I'm talking to them about the epidemic right now in gambling because it's just the tip of the iceberg. NBA players are getting indicted, MLB, now college students, college athletes are getting indicted. Working with bookies like myself and even professional bookies, guys from the 5 families, the Lucchese families are involved in these things. And my idea is just to keep talking to these student athletes and say, guys, listen, I was just like you, and I am an adrenaline junkie, just like you guys. When you guys walk out of that Coliseum or that basketball court, you love the fucking fans and you love winning that game. And guess what? When you're done with this sport, you're not going to make the NBA or the Major League Baseballs. Guess what? You're going to have to find something that has that same rush and And for me, it was gambling, and I'm literally chasing every bet and parlaying it. And you guys start gambling, guess what? You never know what could happen. You know, one day you could be working with the cartel because you got in the hole with them, and next thing you know, you're in federal prison. And I feel like that story needs to get out there, especially right now. I need to strike while the iron's hot, because right now it's getting really bad in the sports industries for gambling.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to put all of Owen's stuff right down below so you know how to contact and see what he's up to. Dude, I really appreciate you doing this.
Thanks for having me.